It's a doubleheader of hockey tonight on FSN North. Game 2, the Gophers and Tigers battle next in the Dodge Holiday Classic. It seems like an eternity, but it's only been a 20-day layoff, and the Golden Gophers are getting ready to get back in action on home ice. On the campus of the University of Minnesota, the 17th annual Dodge Holiday Classic is about to unfold as the Gophers get ready to take on RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology. Hi again, everyone. Along with Doug Moen, I'm Frank Mazzei, and thrilled to be joined by freshman Mike Hopeful. Mike, what have the upperclassmen told you about playing, and how are you looking forward to playing in this tournament?
They've stressed, that the seniors here have won it 4 years in a row, so we want to keep it going and keep a high tempo and win again for them this year, fourth in a row.
Mike, your game has gotten better and better as we've watched starting early in the freshman year, and now you're starting to score. What's the deal?
I don't know. I think I'm just getting more comfortable and starting to adjust more to the game tempo and just continuing to work hard, so hopefully it continues.
Mike, we talked about 3 weeks ago, your last games. We're looking at a 2-goal performance for you in Minnesota's win to get that split against North Dakota. How important was that win? How much are you building on that split from that weekend?
Oh, it was a huge win. I mean, leaving break there with a win versus North Dakota was huge, and hopefully we're just going to try to keep that momentum in the second half and continue playing well.
Mike Hopeful, thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right, the Golden Gophers, as per usual this time of the year, will have a couple of names missing from the lineup. 4, as a matter of fact. Kyle Oposo, of course, is a permanent absence from the lineup. But Mike Carmen, Ryan Flynn, Kate Fairchild, all with Team USA. Doug, that leaves Minnesota perhaps a little thin.
A little thin, but we've seen some of these guys together before. Gordon, Wheeler, and Barriball, we've seen them before. Hopeful, White, and Howe. I like that line. Lucia, Coffin, Boostrom, they'll be counted in. Paul and Fisher won't stand alone once the game starts.
Add Brent solely to that, and you have all hands on deck. So we went to the skipper himself, Don Lucia. What's it like being so shorthanded?
We've got 11 forwards, we've got 6 defensemen, we've got 2 goaltenders, so we have plenty of bodies. And I think the fun time always this year, we've always played well at this time. Every year we lose players to the World Juniors. And I think it's an opportunity for other players to step up. And I think that's always an exciting time to watch your team and some guys be put in new roles and see how they're going to do.
Boston College won the first game of this tournament convincingly over Air Force. The Golden Gophers would like to be in the championship game. They'll have to beat RIT to get there. Golden Gopher Hockey on FSN North is brought to you by Northland Ford and your local Northland Ford dealer. By Treasure Island Resort and Casino, located just minutes south of Hastings. We're closer than you think. By Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by your local Toyota dealer, moving you forward.
We are short guys, and with Kyle leaving and the guys at World Juniors, it's just gonna, other guys are just gonna have to step up, and that's just what it's gonna take. And we got enough manpower in the locker room to do it. We got a bunch of talented hockey players in there, and I'm not worried about it. I think we're gonna be just fine.
And that's pretty much the consensus. We again welcome you to Mariucci Arena with Doug Moen. I'm Frank Mazzei. Doug, let's take a look at our McDonald's game plan for this semifinal game.
Well, look out, boy. RIT adapt to the big ice. They play on a 185 instead of a 200 by 85. Minnesota, don't take the Tigers lightly. It'll be a problem. Both teams need to get some good goaltending. Limit the soft goals. That'll be a key to this game. This is going to be a lot closer than people thought or even think. So let's get at it and see what happens.
And we're ready to go. We're ready to get back into action. We hope you are. Blake Wheeler will center this top line for Minnesota with Ben Gordon and Jay Barriball. The first meeting ever between Minnesota and RIT, or Rochester Institute of Technology, is underway. Captain Derek Peltier, a crisp pass to Blake Wheeler, not a center ice. Right wing, and Jay Barriball moves it in, looking for the first shot of the game, but he's pushed outside on a defensive play there by Steve Kuhn, actually by Justin Hofstetter. And the puck goes out of the rink, and our Northland Ford goaltenders will give you a first look now at sophomore Louis Menard, who was on the Atlanta Hockey All-Rookie team last year. He had a sterling conference record, 11-0 and 2-0-1. And Minnesota junior Jeff Frazee will be in the nets at 6-6-0, and his record for the Golden Gophers, and he's got fine numbers on home ice. Our Northland Ford starting goaltender. Hofstetter, the defenseman, playing it to his junior partner, Bobby Raymond. And David Fisher in Minnesota's end to get the puck. He and Derek Peltier are there. Pass intended for Gordon out at center ice. Maybe Gordon touched it. If not, it was an attainable pass, and they wave it off. Wave off the icing, that is. And from center ice, it is dumped in by Matt Smith. Played into the Minnesota end, and a Shack check there. Brian Shack, number 27, in the lineup for the Golden Gophers. They close in on him. That's Matt Crowell with the check. Backhand shot attempt in front of the net by Brent Patry. Never got anywhere, and then it's brought back to center. This is Shack with control. He is checked by Anton Karim, and it's icing as they dump it in. And here's a look at the personnel for the Tigers.
10 guys back from the team from last year. Smith, Murphy, and Walton. Murphy from Owatonna. Actually, Rochester played in Owatonna. Crowell, Kareen, Lambert, pretty good line. Saracen, Maddock, Newman, good third line. Favot, Mazzei, and Janda will round out the fourth line. And we expect to see all four play here tonight.
Puck driven around in the Minnesota end by R.J. Anderson, number 6. And in the corner now to Matt Crowell. Crowell jammed up pretty nicely by Shack. Here's a shot, and a rebound try goes wide. The first hard shot back from the point taken by Brent Patry. And at the line, Patry is there to rocket it away, and Brent Shack has handled the Ryan Shack has handled the puck more tonight, Doug, than he maybe has an entire year.
It's gotten to him, and that time he didn't want it.
And it's getting to me, too. And a block at the line, played across by the Minnesota defenseman, now Kevin Weirs. A long pass picked off by Stu Bickel at center. He finally was able to thread it to Evan Coffin, a long shot, and Menard makes the save. Here's Tony Lucia in the corner for the Golden Gophers. Back to the blue line for Bickel, a rising shot. Menard knocked it down, but has no control of the rebound, and a backhand by Justin Boostrom. Pushed wide of the net.
Goalie didn't have long enough arms. Menard was short by about 2 feet there, or 2 arms.
I get it. Oh, that was a woogism for the ages. Out to center ice now, and Blake Wheeler to bring it in, and he stumbles coming across the line. And to the corner now, sophomore Al Mazur goes after it. Mazur, one of 3 sophomores who last year at freshman were on the Atlantic Hockey Association All-Conference team. Barriball out of the zone, back in, and it's offside. Time to give you a look at tonight's headlines. What's ahead on our broadcast? Well, of course, we'll have more reaction to the departure of Kyle Oposo. A shortened bench for the Golden Gophers. We'll see how that plays out. And then at our second intermission, a little history lesson, if you will, on the Dodge Holiday Classic. And, of course, tomorrow night, yes, we will talk about Kyle Oposo because it is still fresh on everybody's mind, particularly here in this arena. And tomorrow night in our Quest Gophers Live pregame show, a much more in-depth look at all of the ramifications involved in that early departure. And, again, we lose the puck here. Our referee tonight, a man we have not seen before, is Brent Klosowski. Jarod Moen, the assistant ref. Jerome Krieger, the other assistant ref. The neutral official tonight up in the booth is supervisor of officials Greg Shepard, who says after this weekend, Doug, that is the end of our look at the 2+2, 2 referees, 2 linesmen experiment. And by all accounts, everybody, perhaps except you, love the system. The coaches are very much in favor of it. The referees really like it. It takes the heat and the pressure off of them. And some of the coaches even wanted to go to it permanently this year.
Well, I hope we stop before we get 5. That would equal the whole team. Sounds like I'm on the wrong rope here.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to the wrong one.
You will be perhaps casting the minority vote on this one, the dissenting vote.
Well,
you'll have the dissenting opinion.
Okay, here's what it's a foregone conclusion.
We should introduce the folks to Wayne Wilson first of all. However, he is the only coach, or actually the last 8 years at RIT. This program goes back well into the 50s as a Division III program. But Wilson is the one who's now elevated it in the last 3 years to Division I status.
Right. Quickly, I'll say that some people have just folded in because they know it's going to happen. So they just decided to get on the boat that's still afloat.
You do play it very well.
Okay. But I'll tell you what, this program has won a couple NCAAs, one in Division II and one in Division III. in the 80s, early 80s. So they've had hockey a long time.
And the Atlantic Hockey Conference, which in itself is only a few years old, formed in the summer of 2003, has given them an opportunity to play at a high level. And of course, the winner of the playoffs of this conference will go on to the NCAAs, as they have in the past couple of years. Country Insurance, who's hot? Well, it would be the host school. No place like home, of course, for the Golden Gophers, who have won 8 straight holiday championships and 11 of the prior 16.
But in history, go back the start of our RIT. They started in 1959. They had a budget, I looked it up, it was $1,020. That was
really?
Yeah, it was an amazing start. It was a club team. They just kind of, they drove their own cars, got their own, no coach. Did it without a coach. I guess more players would like that.
What bean counter came up with that budget figure, 1,020? Can you round it off?
I don't see
either
exactly.
1,100.
I thought I would get a rise out of that.
Here's Weirs throwing it across, and now Kevin Kaufman to center ice. The Minnesota senior to bring it in the zone, puts one across the goal mouth and out the other end. Weirs, now Kaufman, and Kaufman takes the check there from Bobby Raymond. And Raymond in a little bit of a battle now. Kaufman down to a knee, still maintains control. Bickle throws it into an open corner. And now tape to tape, and it's backhanded by Matt Crowell out of the zone. Bickle can't handle a bouncing puck. Crowell shoots it in.
One guy I think is going to benefit from some of the departures is going to be Kevin Kaufman, because he's already got 2 shots. He's a smart player, playing in the middle. I think that's where he's best suited. We'll see how he reacts to the opportunities he's going to get.
Here's Dan Ringwald putting it across the goal mouth and threw everybody to the far side. Gordon was jammed as he tried to get it out. Now he got some help, took the outlet pass from Bickle. Gordon and Wheeler right in on goal, and a nice block on the far side by Captain Brent Patry. Peltier finds Fisher. A deflection goes wide of the net. Now Patry after it again for the Tigers. And they'll bring it out 2-on-3 to the Minnesota line, and it's dumped in by the junior from British Columbia, Jesse Newman. A predominant Canadian lineup here, as you might expect with them being up close to the 48th parallel. And here's a block by Frazee.
Oh, good save by Frazee in position.
And now David Fisher off the skate of Gordon. He gets it in the zone, then Gordon knocked down. And back out at center ice, here's Tyler Mazzei. Got it into the Minnesota end. Mazzei with a shot that's blocked by Fisher, and a highlight job there by Frazee. Paddles this one out of the air before gloving it and hold on. Well, Ben Gordon and Blake Wheeler gave the crowd some thrills. Still, 0-0 our score.
It has passed. Santa Claus came, and you know, you move forward. I think that's the bottom line, and it was a difficult situation for everybody.
Yes, our reference there to Don was his earlier quote saying, "This too shall pass," and he says, yes, it has passed. But I'm not sure if it was Santa Claus who came or the Grinch, as Bruce Brothers pointed out.
Well, we got a lot, and it's difficult to say it's completely passed, because you got to play games without a player that.
Well, it raises so many issues, Doug, too, and those issues aren't going to go away easily, I don't think. Issues in, you know, how do you recruit? What's the role of college hockey? And we'll discuss a lot of those, of course, when we get the full panel together for our Quest Gophers Live tomorrow night. And we'll also spend some more time with Don Lucia to get more reaction from him in our first intermission tonight. So we'll have the subject pretty well covered for you, we think. Here's Shack getting it to Mike Howe. And now out at center ice, it'll be brought ahead. Drew Fisher is looking for his first point of the year. Leaves it for Anderson, the defenseman. He's in the corner with Sean Murphy, as Doug mentioned. The only native Minnesotan in this roster. Murphy, number 27. From southern Minnesota, they, in 2 different publications, list his hometown as either Rochester or Owatonna, but he played in Owatonna. And it bounds back out at center ice.
One thing you've seen, 4 lines by the Tigers. Not a bad group. The first couple can move pretty well.
Bobby Raymond with a fantastic move in front of his own goaltender, one which Louis Menard would rather not see again. And Lucia. 3 Gophers bring it in. 4 Tigers are back, and Menard makes the save and a rebound for Kaufman, but it's knocked away from him.
Kevin Weirs is going to go back and get the puck. Now, he's going to get a lot of ice time. He's going to be in a regular shift here, and that's going to help him, particularly playing with Bickle, because Bickle's big and strong. And I think that's going to help Kevin. He just needs to get some confidence.
And now behind the net, here's Weirs and Lucia and Bickle. And back around to Kevin Weirs. Well, we are having nearly a face-off every 30 seconds in the early going here. Here's Coffin getting upended on a checkout at center ice. And at the 12-minute mark only, or at the 8-minute mark, only 7 shots on goal combined and a 0-0 score.
Whoa.
Big hit by Bickle, and he really blasted Matt Crowell.
Yeah, a little early. He didn't get caught. It was all right.
Pass intended for Barriball, who brings it in. And now for Gordon. And Gordon in the corner now with Brent Patry.
That line has come in the zone 3 times and have not gotten a shot. You got to put the puck in net. They all got good shots. Gordon, Barriball, and Wheeler. Not one of them taking a shot yet. Can't be too cute sometimes, right? You can drift. You got to drive and then go to the net.
Things only coaches see. I'm glad you're sitting here with us.
Well, I got to be somewhere. And a lot of people turned it down, the opportunity.
You're always welcome here, of course, Coach.
Thank you.
Especially since that contract is signed, and we got to have you. So you know how it goes?
Yeah.
Here's Stephen Burns. And in the corner now, Al Mazur. And it bounds to center ice, and it's pushed in by Stephen Maddox. Maddox's attempt to center gets deflected. Now Burns with a shot, and now it's swept out of the zone. It was intended to be a headman pass.
The quality shots are pretty even here. Minnesota's got a couple, and so do the Tigers. From Rochester, New York.
White drop pass. Here's Mike Hopeful, who tries to put it in the middle. It takes an RIT hop, and here comes Brennan Sarrazin. Elects to fire, and a nice block there by Shack. Tigers in the midst of a change, and Mazur has to turn around and get the puck, and then he'll get it over to Justin Hofstetter. And Mazur wanted to go off on a change that he's not allowed to, and now the puck leaves the rink. As we approach the halfway point of period number 1, the biggest hit of the night so far belongs to Stu Bickle. 0-0 the score.
Fisher's playing with Pohl, and White's the winger on that line. Now, that one of the things you got to worry about when you have that 2 extra guys, that third person is not always the same position. You're used to following somebody, and all of a sudden somebody else is in that spot. It can cause you too many men on the ice, but you've got to obviously find somebody to slide in there. Make a line.
Here's Tom Pohl back to get the puck. This, I believe, is his 11th consecutive game played and the longest of his college career. From center ice, it's flipped in. Patrick White goes after it. White, a first-round pick of Vancouver, and number 25 overall last summer. White gets jammed up pretty good,
Right,
and then lost the puck.
He's a key guy. Talking to Coach Lucia yesterday. He and Hopeful have to get better. They have to keep improving if Minnesota's going to stay in an improving squad. And you know what? The confidence of the coach is there. They feel good about those 2 guys, and they're going to have to play a lot just based on numbers.
Puck played apparently with a glove hand, and it winds up to be an offside call. The Minnesota Wild folks are back on the ice Monday night to close out the 07 calendar. They'll face off against the San Jose Sharks. Bring in the new year, perhaps with a Wild victory Monday night. Our coverage begins at 5:30. Just 5:30 on Quest Wild Live. Bickle and Weirs teamed up back on D, and Weirs has the puck. Justin Boostrom suffered a broken hand about a month ago against Alaska Anchorage. Missed 6 games. This is his first action. So not only will we be concerned about his hand, but also just the general conditioning. And a nice glove save there by Menard on Tony Lucia.
Tony got the shot off, got it down low enough, hit the net, all the things you're supposed to do. Nice entry into the zone. Here's Boostrom going wide, pulling the D with him. That's what's so nice. Following in is Lucia. He pulled that D with him because he went to the outside with some determination, some relative speed anyway. Much better attack than the first line has had with Barriball, Gordon, and Wheeler.
Here's Boostrom in the corner, and the Tiger player, the RIT player, Sean Murphy, went down there early and making the cut. And Dan Ringwald, a sophomore defenseman from Ontario, who Wayne Wilson describes as perhaps the smartest defenseman he's ever coached.
Well, I did a lot of accolades from Wilson about his defensive core. He says the best core in the league. In other words, they've got 8 guys back there, and they've got some good offensive D, and they got some good defensive D. So it's a nice team. Just hasn't won as many games as coach thought they would at this point.
Ringwald is number 6, and he's at the left point. Here's Weirs with the puck for Minnesota, and ahead to Evan Kaufman out of the RIT line. Kaufman looked like a centering pass there, but it came off a skate, and the Tigers roll back into Minnesota territory. Murphy with the cut, and then he stripped of the puck by Barriball. Barriball jammed up in the corner. Nice pressure by Brent Patry, the captain, one of the tri-captains on the team. And here's Barriball. Threw it right into the skates of Crowell, was lucky to get it back. Here comes Peltier. Now Gordon centers and a goal! Beautiful passing, and this time Doug, the line comes in. They do get a shot on goal, and Wheeler scores.
But it makes a difference when you penetrate. Barriball really got in deep, got 15 feet inside the blue line. Wheeler whistled around, turned his butt around, slid to the open, had his chest to the net, got the nice pass, and didn't waste any time.
They also got a break and a lucky bounce coming on their own end.
Yeah, they did get the break at the end. That's why the outman situation here in Peltier has always had a good tournament. Look at the penetration. When Gordon gives the puck up, he's already on top of the circle. There he is. That's called penetration. That's driving people back. Look at how nicely Wheeler gets turned around, opens himself up. But you're right, Frank. Minnesota got a break on the other end. Created that outman situation.
So when you hear a coach say, boy, we didn't get any breaks tonight, those are the kinds of things that they're looking for. A puck that might come right back to your stick, and it allowed Barriball to start the rush up the rink from his own blue line. So Wheeler gets the goal, Gordon gets the first assist, and Peltier the other at 12:08. And this hard shot by Carl misses everything.
Peltier's, I think, been an all-tournament selection the last 2 years here. It's been one of his favorite,
maybe three. I think there is. No, Kelly Briggs made it 3 in a row. Peltier 2 in a row. You're right, Doug.
Okay.
Sorry to
no, that's
break your flow there.
I'm all right. I'm safe.
All right, so it's Wheeler getting the goal, his 9th of the season, and a 1-0 Minnesota lead. Blake Wheeler, his 9th goal of the season, and a lot of eyes turned to him in the last couple of weeks, what with Kyle Oposo leaving, and Blake Wheeler being in a similar situation with a first-round draft pick tag hung around his neck, and folks wondering just how long he'll stick around. And right now, Blake Wheeler tells us he is more than prideful to play for the M. Here's Howe to bring it in, and that shot comes down off the glass, and it caroms all the way back to Shack, who keeps it in. Now White over to get it. White chased in the corner there by Justin Hofstetter. And Howe leaves it for Hofel to do a little spinorama with it. Hofel battling in front, finally slapped off his stick, and it's back to Shack at center, who dumps it in.
I'm impressed with RIT. When you get in a big rink, when you're so small, when you get lost in the corners, or the players you're playing against get lost on you, and yet they still were able to hold and make a good situation. In other words, they turned what could have been a bad situation in their own end into something where they just negated it.
Bostrom, slick drop pass. Kaufman in the slot for Lucia, and nice coverage there in front of him. Andrew Favot was all over him, and here's Favot still on Lucia, and then from center ice, it's driven in by Mike Janda.
Both teams are hitting. Both teams are trying to make plays. Sometimes it's going well, sometimes not so well, but they're certainly competing well for coming in with a 20-day rest.
And they freeze it against the boards there. We had a nice conversation with Blake Wheeler, whose relationship with Phoenix is much different than Minnesota's relationship with the New York Islanders. And we asked Blake about the Phoenix Coyotes relationship.
My communication with, future and player is minimal because of that, because, they have a lot of faith in our program. They have a lot of faith in Coach Lucia, and, they have a lot of faith in me being here because, we have had a great program in the past. So, it's nice knowing that they have a lot of confidence in this program because, obviously I take a lot of pride in being here.
And bottom line on that, too, Doug, is Blake tells us that it takes a lot of pressure off of him.
Yeah, if you kind of followed the trace when he entered school here, he never once talked about going pro. He never brought that out. In other words, his interest was to come here and play. He's never said, if I have a great year, I'm going to go. He's always put both feet in this bucket here, and it's called the University of Minnesota, at least from my knowledge.
And mine, too, as far as I can tell.
And he didn't start great. It was a struggle for him the first year. Everything, just because you're first-round draft choice, they're drafting on the future, not today.
Right.
He's gotten better every year, and he's going to continue to get better, no matter if he goes pro or stays here.
Here's a quick centering pass that comes through everybody. Doug, you and I were discussing Minnesota's first-round picks earlier this week, Blake being one of them, David Fisher, Patrick White, and your comment was quite succinct. You said, you know what, It's none of those players' fault that they were drafted #1.
No, that's exactly. They should, proudness going to help them in the bank later on, but
it can be an albatross too.
Oh, it's a heavy burden.
Here comes now Blake Wheeler as the game's only goal. He got it to Tom Pohl at center ice. He switches a shot wide, and there's Wheeler diving after a loose puck. Back to the line for Fisher, and the deflection in front by Wheeler went over top of the net.
I'm giving Drew, before the big boys come back, I'm going to give Fisher a point or possibly a goal here in the next 4 games. He hasn't got a point yet in 10. That's Drew.
Out of the corner, and now Al Mazur from behind the net. It's off the glass and into the Minnesota end. They're going to wave off the icing, saying it was attainable.
Frank, this almost seems like a week ago. We started the period with so many offsides, so many whistles. Now we got to the second half of this period like we played a game, and everybody's kind of in a much better sync. Exactly, and a little quickly, to my surprise. Sometimes it takes more than a period. Yeah, maybe 2.
It didn't take Boston College long to get rolling in their game. We mentioned that they won. They rolled up an 8-2 victory over Air Force Academy. Frank Serratori, a Coleraine native, not real happy with the Falcons.
Well, I'll tell you, tomorrow you're going to see a good BC team. Coach Jerry York, was really kind of high in his team last night, wasn't he, Frank? When we talked to him, he said they're really coming. They're really good, which is nice to see. We saw a lot of speed there, agility on defense.
There's Peltier winding and shooting. He pushed the shot just wide. And with all due respect to RIT, let us say they will see a good BC team on television if Minnesota goes on to win here.
Right, I would say BC is a good hockey club. So I don't care if RIT plays or not, you're going to see a pretty good hockey club.
Justin Boostrom bringing it in. And he is jammed up and then gets knocked down. How tough is it, Doug, to come back from a hand injury? A broken hand, as a matter of fact.
You know,
next to the feet, you got to have soft hands.
Yeah, it depends what's actually broken. It's so hard to find out what's really on Boostrom. If you get where you're between your thumb and your forefinger, then you got a problem because that's where you cradle everything. If it's on the back of the hand, it makes no difference. So it depends on where it would be. You need the stick lies between your thumb and your first finger. You can make a V out of it or however, but that's got to roll. Okay, that part's got to move. So obviously my medical history and my medical knowledge is limited, but it's pretty simple if you look at it, from the.
Well, that's okay. I didn't ask you to perform an operation. I just wanted to know how quick it was to come back.
Neither did the victim.
Here comes Wheeler to bring it in, and a delayed penalty against RIT. Here's a hard shot by Barriball, and the rebound hit a body in front of the net. So with the penalty coming up in a Minnesota power play, we'll take a break. Minnesota power play coming up. Our Toyota key stat tonight is the number 2 with Kyle Oposo gone. Now the leading power play goal scorers on the Minnesota roster are Ben Gordon, Evan Kaufman. They each have only 2, and this is a team that's pretty much struggling on the power play. But when your team leader only has 2 power play goals, you got a ways to go, I think, on your power play. We are mid-season after all. Here's Peltier with a shot that gets deflected. The minor penalty was on Simon Lambert. He got a hooking penalty at 18:02, and here's Ben Gordon over to get it.
I like this unit here. You got people in their right hands and their forehands.
Here's Gordon. Barriball and Wheeler are the others, and then the points are Fisher and Peltier. Now Jay Barriball. Wheeler. Fisher fires, looking for the corner, and it hit a body or 2 maybe. And then it's shoveled out of there by Mazzei.
I liked Wheeler's pass across to Fisher, but I would like to see Wheeler, when he gets that pass on top of the circle from Barriball, to start moving his feet over the red line.
Mike Janda, I believe, is the penalized player here. Apparently they relayed misinformation up to us.
Can you imagine that? Fourth line right winger, Glen Ellen, Illinois.
Here's a look at Minnesota's power play and how has it evolved. In the first 8 games, they only had 3 power play goals. Their last 10 games, however, at 18%. That's still not great, of course, but it's more than double what they did in the first game.
Yeah, when you take it, and Minnesota hasn't lost a game where they've scored 3 goals, so if they can get a power play each night, that puts them in pretty good position.
And when this school is on, getting its power play goals, they'll bat 40 or more in a year, which is roughly a power play goal a game on average. Here's Menard fighting the puck off. Howe playing it back for Anderson. About 30 seconds to go in the period. About the same amount of time in the Minnesota power play. Here's Wheeler now. Anderson, a one-timer by Wares, got knocked down in front. It might have hit Wheeler. And it's back out at center ice, 20 seconds to go. Anderson. Howe. And a tough spot for Weirs, but he keeps it in using his skates. And then it's dumped down the rink, and that might do it for the period.
Big kill.
Yep.
Big kill. 1-0's not bad if you're coming on the road against Minnesota.
Absolutely. Here's a team that plays in a 2,100-seat arena. And here they were wondering how they would hold up. All right, we'll have more reaction to the departure of Kyle Oposo, and we'll speak live with Blake Wheeler just outside the Minnesota bench. And Doug and I will have first period stats and highlights. And so that's where we stand. This is the second semifinal game of the 17th annual Dodge Holiday Classic. After one period, Minnesota, the host school, won, and RIT nothing. Blake Wheeler and much more coming up in a moment. And RIT coming up a 3-week layoff. Both split their last conference series on the road, but all in all, not a bad first period of hockey after a layoff.
Hey, I think after the first 6-7 minutes, it was pretty doggone good. Look at here, you got Gordon coming down, trying to find Wheeler. Good defensive play by Patry with their star in defense. Another nice play here, good penetration by Wheeler. Slips the puck over, shot on goal. Gordon's about, that line was pretty good for Minnesota. Here's a nice little penetration play. Look at Peltier, drives the zone, comes over, lays it back to Gordon. Gordon hits a wide open Wheeler. Gophers go up 1-0. Nice job of moving that puck around.
Wheeler thought he shot that too high. I didn't think so. Here are Jeep stats. 10 shots on goal for Minnesota. They had 20 attempts. 4 were blocked. 6 missed the target altogether. And just a couple of seconds remaining, 2 to be specific, on the only power play of this game. Back in a moment. Gopher Hockey on FSN North is brought to you by Carsoup.com, the official online automotive resource of FSN North. By American Family, all your protection under one roof. And by Chrysler. The way our vehicles come together is what sets us apart. Chrysler, engineered beautifully. Our referee, Brent Klosowski, has just dropped the puck and we underway. And just as we say that, the minor penalty to Janda is over. And we are 5 skaters aside here early in period number 2 with Doug Wugai and Frank Mazzacco. Thanks very much for joining us in this semifinal game of the Dodge Holiday Classic. Here's Sean Murphy getting it to center ice. Ben Gordon back for the Gophers in his own end, and now shoveling it ahead out to Jay Barriball, the right winger on this line, and Barriball circling, trying to get away from Ricky Walton, another of the tri-captains.
Good non-call there. Could have been a penalty call for tripping. I think that was a good non-call. I'm impressed with Coach Wilson's job here. Wayne's done a nice job coaching these kids. They finish their checks, the RIT guys. Nice hockey club. They're on the end cycle. In other words, on the top cycle, it gets some good young kids. It gets some veteran players who can move around the rink. For their program, in their league, they're going to be tough.
Reaching for the puck, they flip it into the corner, and now it comes back. Here's a shot right on. That shot by Murphy, and the stop made by Jeff Frazee. We're going to show you some numbers and what a difference a year makes. And if you're a Golden Gopher fan, you're going to say, oh, ouch.
That's why.
Gosh. If I may, Doug, your crayon here. Look at that. Only 1 loss at this time last year for the Golden Gophers. A difference of nearly 2 goals a game scored. And what, 3/4 of a goal a game difference in allowed. Power play has just fallen off the face of the earth. And it's not the offensive juggernaut that we've been used to.
No, it's almost 2.5. You know, it's a huge number. Talking about one
goal differential.
Good goal differential, yeah, between last year this time. Well, we are what we are. We got to work hard. We got to continue to play. The young kids got to get better.
As a good friend of mine once said, well, right now, that's our address, and that's what we have to do.
If you want to get us, call us at that number. That's where we're going to be at, okay?
Here's Anton Karim, and now back to the point. A good catch at the line, and a hard shot by Stephen Burns. And I'm feeling a little more gasoline coming out of the Tigers here.
Well, they're certainly not going to be intimidated after seeing what they could do the first time. And also, here's a nice shot from the point. The Gophers did a good job of getting in front. Crazy controlled the rebound. That helped, too. Nice shot there by Stephen Burns.
Stephen Maddock in for the face-off for RIT.
You know, that's another issue as you start looking who's going to be the face-off guy for the Gophers.
3-on-2 led in by Evan Kaufman. Lucia's pass gets redirected and passed to Bickle. I don't think he ever saw that when it was up high enough in the air. Might have gotten lost in the crowd.
Frank, sometimes you're in the blind and it's early in the morning and that teal goes by. You hear him, but you can't find him. that was a whiffle. Right over the... right over the... Watch this. Bang, shot. Nice play by Frazee. He controls the puck. Oh, man. Haven't had a chance to talk any analogies with duck hunting for a while, Frank.
Bless your heart. Gosh, we're all the poorer for it.
I tell you, what's really is difficult when that's the only bird that comes by all morning. You heard him, but you couldn't find him.
A collision out at center ice, and Maddock may have gotten the worst of that when he gets back up and tips the puck in the Minnesota zone. Frazee plays it around for Fisher, and it looks like these guys were fed some raw meat between periods. They're coming hard, much harder at the Gophers here in the opening 2.5 minutes. The Fisher pass gets deflected. Lucia got lucky to get a piece of it, and then it's turned over back at center ice and flipped in again. Now Fisher. Nearly lost it on a hard pressure by Tyler Mazzei. Wrap loose in the corner. Favot making his way to the net. They go back to the line for the shot by Hofstetter and a goal to tie the game at the 3-minute mark.
When you have the puck in the zone for a while, you either get a penalty or you get into trouble. Minnesota's line got in trouble. They couldn't get it out, and it one deflected. Hofstetter, number 3, big kid. Big Justin.
Janda will get the tip in front, we think, Doug.
Well, definitely, there's a right-hander in there. I think it was a fourth-liner Janda that did get that goal. 23 from Glen Ellen, Illinois. His second of the year, his 3rd point. Shots are pretty much the same, 11-10, so it has not been one-sided.
Hofstetter, Mazzei get the assist at the exact 3-minute mark. And we're tied at a goal apiece.
Those pucks get moved around. I'm not sure we're done knowing who actually got that goal, who got the assist, because it moved around where that puck did.
Gordon 3-on-2, pulls back and lets a shot go, and a nice block by Louis Menard. And now out to center ice. Stephen Burns leads the rush. They get it in on the far wing for a shallow angle shot that's stopped by Frazee. Nicely shoveled ahead by Wheeler. Leads Gordon on a possible 3-on-1. Gordon dances, centers it, and a shot pushed by Anderson just wide of the net.
He needs to work on his shoveling.
Here's Anderson. He winds and fires and tried to put it right through the goaltender Menard this time.
Frank, the Gophers had a chance, or Andy had a chance. Moved right in. There's a stick handle work there by the big Wheeler. Anderson comes in. I say, whoa, he went a long time without scoring. Hope it doesn't take him that long again, Frank. He would have
lost track. 80 games?
Well, I got the point.
Okay. Nice catch out at center ice. Murphy splitting the D and shoots. Soft goal. Sean Murphy. And boy, have these guys kicked it up a notch or two. And the Tigers have the lead.
Great position to come in and take that shot. Sean Murphy from Rochester gets the pass there. Moves right in, protects the puck, but not a very good play by the goaltender. That hole right in the middle was pretty big.
Oh, and it never did close either, did it?
No, that elevator door stayed open for a long time. We talked in the pregame show, or excuse me, on the beginning of the show here about soft goals had to be limited. Good position to shoot the puck. Bad results by the goaltender. You just got to say it the way it is.
Sean Murphy from Rochester in his freshman year now gets his 3rd collegiate goal. And the Tigers have the lead 2-1. Here's a pass, perhaps ill-advised by White, and he gave it away. And Bickle, now he gives it away. And it's brought in by Matt Smith. The Tigers inadvertently shoot it out to center. Nice takeaway by Lucia. In with Carmen. Now trailing is Howe, and he fired it right into a body. Howe to Weirs. That shot got blocked in a hurry. And Howe again. And this shot ripples the outside of the net. That one taken by Lucia on his off wing. And it's dumped down the rink. Will there be icing? Yes.
I don't think Howe got too much on that shot.
Well, the Tigers are taking time and space away from the Golden Gophers. And they've also taken away the lead. They're up 2-1.
Tony Lucia made a nice play. Could have evened that score at 2-2. 2-1 RIT right now. But that puck was right on the stick of Howe. It looked like Howe fan under some, didn't get the good pump on the puck. But Gophers have to rally here. They can't get down by 2. I don't know if they got enough scoring power to jump into the bigger numbers.
RIT with 2 goals, just 1 minute and 3 seconds apart here early in the period at 3 minutes and at 4:03. Stepping up Evan Kaufman to push it back into the corner. Now Justin Boostrom trying to spin away from the check of Al Mazur. Back at the line, here's David Fisher firing a shot. That was blocked by Karim, and a long try from Peltier was turned away by Menard. Now Kaufman's centering pass got deflected up in the air, and a nice battle by Kaufman to come right back and get it. And then he hands it away out at center ice to Simon Lambert, who moves in with a slick move, and then it's paddled away by Frazee, but not far enough. Simon Lambert, one of their seniors who leads the team in scoring, called by Wayne Wilson, a very honest and dedicated hockey player. Here's Lucia in the slot, and then he couldn't handle it. Jesse Newman to play it in. And there is the icing call. Let's ask Don Lucia what his thoughts were coming in about these Tigers.
You look at the track record and what they've been able to do with that program. You look at their location, basically sitting on the Canadian border. It's not surprising that they have 19-20 Canadians that all play junior hockey. So they're going to have good stick skills. They're going to be able to finish when given the opportunity. So we're going to have our hands full. We all know that that league hasn't exactly been kind to us the last couple of years we've played against them.
Yeah, well, they get a little kindness there on an R.J. Anderson goal. He hasn't been able to buy one for a long time. And here, a little seeing eye goal just inside the far post to tie the game again.
Big goal for the Gophers. RJ rolled it over. Watch it. Kind of nice draw by Fisher. We did say he would get a point, Frank, in the next 4 games, and he will get one on this draw. That thing was a rollover, a head over heels jobby, and it found the corner, and that's all it has to do.
R.J. Anderson won his entire freshman year, his entire sophomore year, and then didn't get his first collegiate goal until the 13th game of this season. Now he gets another goal in his 19th game. Anderson with one, and the Excel Energy Center actually in game 2 was his first career goal. So just a little bit over 2 years, Doug.
Are face-offs important? Well, they sure can be. As Drew Fisher got the draw, Anderson walked in, put it in the lower corner, and I tell you, I think that's a crucial goal in this hockey game. Minnesota has got a Tiger, literally here, not just by name. They got one in by the tail.
Yep, this one at 6:10. So just a little over 2 minutes after the Tigers had taken the lead.
I'll tell you, Drew Fisher's a happy camper. 10th game, International Falls native. He's even putting a check on somebody down there.
His first point, I believe you pointed out.
Frank, we went out on the limb. It was a thin one.
Peltier's outlet pass misfires, and then it'll be back, brought back in by the Tigers. Peltier now watching the man he gave it away to, Mike Janda.
Well, Frank, you might say that both teams' goalies have let in a soft one. That certainly should have been saved by the goaltender, Menard. Minnesota's goaltender coughed one up right between the legs. Crazy, so soft goals have played a factor here.
Janda brings it back in the Minnesota end. Down the middle, and Frazee making the save on Favot, who then got blasted by Bickle.
Oh, Bickle did a job.
No prisoners there. Wheeler to bring it in, leaves it for Gordon. Puts it towards the net, and Menard scoops it up with Jay Barriball right there. Well, we told you R.J. Anderson went his entire freshman and sophomore years before he was able to score a goal, and he did it in Game 2 this year. We're at the Excel Energy Center on the 13th of October. He gets it against Michigan. And that was a seeing eye goal, too. A lot of joyous celebration for R.J. Anderson, who was really...
What do you think his dreams were like for a couple of years? Would they be nightmares? You know, he's a big slap shot shooter. I mean, a big goal scorer at Centennial. This is a guy that just came in as a defensive stalwart. He was an offensive player.
So he was happy at the first, and now here's his third. More subdued, but the smile is just as big.
A weekend for our team. It was a great ending to our first half, especially being North Dakota in their own arena, and it was just kind of a good feeling that we could take into the break.
And I think they have certainly built on that over the last 3 weeks, Doug, because if you're not playing well when you can go into a long break like that, it makes that break doubly long. And how about that save there by Louis Menard?
Again, another faceoff won by the Gophers. Big time. But yeah, when you go into a break, especially when you're you know, I mean, Minnesota kind of been rudely treated by the press and the rest of us because, you know, they haven't played as well. But look who they played. CC's in the top of the country. Denver's in the top of the country. North Dakota's up there. I mean, the teams they have played have been really good hockey. Michigan State. I mean, they've had an amazingly tough schedule. And you know, when you're not perfect and your goaltending has been so-so, you're lucky to be 500.
CC and Denver are showing that they are not only among the elite in the league, but among the elite in the country.
Exactly.
And, you know, think back to the Minnesota, one of their losses was that overtime loss in that second game against Colorado College. They played them extremely well up there.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a huge goal by the Gophers because a little bit of the buzz came out of the Tigers here in the last, and a penalty got into one of the Tigers. So Minnesota will have a chance here.
Brent Klosowski calling a tripping infraction against RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology.
Sean Murphy, the goal scorer. He'll get his name again in the box score, Frank, but this time it'll be by penalty. Watch. I like Murphy. Murphy's a battler. He's along the rail here.
Wow.
Soft penalty from my angle. Well, stick between the legs, but they're in there battling. Could have looked the other way, that one.
9:06 the time, and it's only the second minor penalty called in this game, which has had pretty good intensity, and a total now of 34 shots on goal.
Yeah, that's fun. I was just talking about one of the guys here earlier, how much fun it is to watch college hockey, because it's almost like you draw a rink inside of a rink. In other words, 10 feet off the boards, just go all the way around the rink. The game is played between those, not on the outside. And the pro game, to me, is played on the outside of that line to the boards. And you get the, you know, not to be negative about the pro game, but I mean, there's been so many plays up and down the rink, and puck keeps moving.
Here's Derek Peltier. This power play unit again has Wheeler up front with Gordon and Barriball. Here's Barriball shooting, and a nice save by Menard. I don't know, there was a wave off by the goaltender. I'm wondering if it hit the post. Wheeler dishes it up the middle. Took a hop on Peltier. He has to scamper to protect, and does. He's in a pitched battle there. Pretty good battle with Raymond before the puck was cleared down the rink by Saracen.
That was not all tournament type play by Mr. Peltier.
No,
that shift. He'll have to come back with something a little better.
There's Lucia at center ice, second power play unit on, and about 48 seconds to go, and the manpower advantage down the middle. It was intended for Weirs, and a diving play by Lambert to get it out of there.
Smart play by Lambert. He does play both power play and penalty kill. One of the few guys on the Tiger team that does that. Coach.
Yep, he's right out at center ice now in the big circle, and Wayne Wilson calls him well, not by far, but he calls him our best player.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys that plays both power play and penalty kill. I was impressed with Wilson's comments yesterday. He said, I'm playing all my guys. There's not a great deal of difference except for Lambert. Lambert is maybe a notch above the herd, so I play him on both units.
Kevin Weirs, long cross-ranked pass, nice catch by Kaufman. Banks it off the rail and actually turns it over. And Mazzei gets it out of the zone.
Wilson was tired, didn't get there.
Here's Frazee with a little stick handling now as the penalty to Murphy is over.
I think we should start with goaltending and then go to stick handling.
Here's Tom Pohl to fire it in. Drew Fisher after the puck. Brian Shack is joining him up front on this as a forward this time around. And a check there by Pohl, and the long outlet pass by Favot. And from the far side, Mike Janda drives it in. Now Peltier, and they're chasing him. It was behind Shaq on the left wing. Now he and Janda lock up, or actually Stephen Burns lock up a little bit, and then from center ice it's dumped in by Favot.
You're right, Frank. Shaq took a left wing spotter. He's off the defensive spot. He's playing left wing on that fourth line with Pohl and Drew Fisher.
And now as he hits the line, he dumps it in. He'll go off on a change. Enough is enough, perhaps, for him. And Hopeful comes on in the middle of his change. Here is Fisher, David Fisher, looking for Drew Fisher, but it was taken away by Mazzei and pumped out of the zone. Bickle. And he flips it in, and the decor will start changing for Minnesota as well. Mike Howe in a hard forecheck after the loose puck. Ties up with Lambert. Burns couldn't get it out. And now Fisher finds Howe, who finds Hopeful, who shoots one, and it takes off and hits the glass. That might have been deflected or tipped. Hopeful in front looking for a deflection.
Cape Canaveral, that sucker. That was a...
Fisher, and he gets bodied there by Lambert. Hopeful.
Excuse me, Frank. Minnesota's had the play definitely to our left, which is in the Tiger goaltending end. They just haven't been able to put enough pucks through the goaltender.
Jeff Frazee handling the puck that time, and this time it's Jarod Moen. No, it's Jerome Krieger who was wishing that he wouldn't handle the puck so much. Krieger, the linesman, had to jump out of the way of that one. Right side pass, way too far for Ricky Walton. We get a stoppage just under 7 minutes to go in the second period. This semifinal game tied at 2.
Well, just at the time it looked like the Tigers were maybe going to take over this game. They scored the second goal, got the first, and got the second. Had a lot of momentum. Gophers have turned it back, and they've been the pushers and the drivers. They've been kind of attacking that. Goaltender Menard has not softened up after he gave up the easy one to Anderson.
Wayne Wilson there, the coach. Folks in Duluth may not like to remember him. They go back to the 1984 Bowling Green team, which beat UMD. And how many overtimes in the NCAA finals?
4 with the bad bounce. Out of the corner.
Wayne Wilson, a part of that team. Jerry York, who is here this weekend to coach Boston College, was the coach at Bowling Green at the time. Wraparound try and a goal, and boy did they man like Matt Smith made that one look easy.
Minnesota fumbled the puck. Actually, it was Bickle who went back. He took a little pressure from one of the smaller forwards and didn't move the puck. Minnesota defense had slid behind the net, didn't move it. All of a sudden, puck, there it is right here. Wow. Right, and this all started a little bit earlier than even our cameras got it. Now that's fundamental goaltending. You got to get that blade down against the pipe. It was down, but the heel was up. It snuck her in there. Boy, I tell you, Minnesota.
I want to put a little bit of perspective on this, if I can, Doug, and draw on some words from Frank Serratori, who last night when he was talking about RIT, said they're a lot like us. All right, now Frank Serratori is the coach at Air Force, which is one of the other teams here this weekend. You'll recall Air Force last year gave Minnesota fits in the NCAA regionals in Denver. So it should be no surprise right now that RIT is giving Minnesota fits here in this semifinal game.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a better team than Frank's team is right now, at least the team we saw this afternoon. But you just can't take anybody lightly, and if you give up a couple soft goals, that's why in the game plan, Frank, I did mention no soft goals, limit soft goals, because the separation, the Gophers don't have enough firepower to give up 2 or 3 soft ones.
Air Force leads the Atlantic Hockey Association. RIT is in 4th place, and they come in with an overall record of 6-6-3. And now Lucia with a pretty good two-handed whack that does not get called. It was stick to stick on Brent Patry, and a long shot here from outside by Lambert gets deflected. And another silence has fallen among this crowd here. A giveaway up the middle. Nope, it turns into a wide shot by Burns. Stephen Burns shooting again. That one hit Mike Hopeful. Hopeful tried to get rid of it, but he paid the price as Mike Janda gave him a good blast. And a stick above the shoulder. We're going to go all the way down. This January, the All-State Bowl Bash comes to Fox, beginning with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Then the All-State Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, and it concludes with the All-State BCS National Championship game between LSU and Ohio State. The All-State Bowl bash begins New Year's Day only on Fox. Mike Janda.
Fourth line.
Tried to put it in front, but Mazzei was well covered.
I just throw that out there because you realize that Tigers are playing all four. Minnesota's got their fourth line as well.
And back to get it now, Anderson, who had the, at one point, tying goal of the game, and now RIT with the lead again at 3-2 on the Matt Smith goal. It's unassisted, by the way, his 9th of the year. And where is this one? Finally, they decided left the rink, and it's way up in Section 4. Here's another look, Doug.
Well, here's the problem. Bickle got it now. He's got a defenseman behind it. He doesn't make the play. And he eats the puck. Good job on the forte. That's the turnover of the forte. That started all the problem. Then another turnover by Bickle. So then the goaltender doesn't bail him out. It wasn't the other guys. And you got to kind of, I guess, tell the way it is. Bickle did not move that puck. Got himself in no man's land. Good checking job by Ricky Walton. Gophers turn over the puck. Not in position to defend. Goaltender doesn't save him.
And it was Matt Smith to capitalize and got his 9th goal of the season. And the 3-2 Tiger lead. Wheeler fires it across to Barriball. Drop pass intended for Wheeler. That one was easily picked off by Crowell. And the lead hopped away from Lambert. He and Peltier battle for a loose puck and getting some help now. Ben Gordon back to apply the help. And from center ice, Cook there to, or Hofstetter to fire it in. And I was waiting for that one to come off the paddle of Frazee. Gordon, Wheeler, 2-on-2 with Barriball. Barriball shooting, he scores! And he sniped that one in. We're tied at 3.
That's the Barriball we saw last year.
His 3rd goal of the season.
And I'll tell you what, that'll help like heck. I was just thinking about it, making a comment that Jay's got to get on track. You know, everybody loves him because he competes, the tough little guy, and he's a much better player than his results have been this year. Now, here's the big guy wheel, drop pass, use it for a screen. Now, that's the thing I like. Instead of trying to beat that guy, Barriball drops it off. Look at that screen he's provided by the defense, and he knew it too. Defenseman Bobby Raymond got caught, and that is something the Gophers may get better at as the year goes on, and certainly will increase their goal scoring opportunities. They'll use that D for the screen. Big, big. Can't describe, can't spell it, can't make big enough letters. A huge goal for the Gophers, momentum-wise and scoreboard-wise.
His last goal was on the 17th of November against Alaska Anchorage. 6 games in between. Now another shot, an attempt to take a lead, and Patrick White came back to help Jeff Frazee, who had problems seeing that one after he made the stop. A blast from the point gets deflected, then knocked down in front of the net by Anderson. Hochul brings it to center, 3-on-2 Minnesota with White and Howe, and Menard is outside the top of the crease to make that save.
Nothing wrong with Hochul taking that shot, got it in. I tell you, Minnesota, the worst thing could happen to him is score a goal, and then come back and play soft.
And Frazee out, scrambling once more to knock it away. Wheeler and Gordon both get the assists on that Barriball goal, which has tied the game at 3. Minnesota had the lead at 1-0, but they have not been able to recapture the lead. They've only been able to tie it twice.
Mo looked like it was going to go inside of Minnesota, and they scored the goal. But you know what? The RIT Tigers came right back and put pressure on the goal, so they negated that opportunity to catapult themselves into the offense.
Well, Jay Barriball has one of the best senses of the rink of any of the Golden Gophers. Celebrates here, tying this game in the 2nd period. Jay Barriball with the goal. Line mate Blake Wheeler with 2 points tonight, a goal and assist, and line mate Ben Gordon with 2 assists. So they are providing Minnesota's offense.
Well, I'll tell you, Minnesota's future will depend on what's going on presently with these 3 guys, because they are going to be called on to do a lot of things offensively as the season rolls.
Well, that second group as well, you've already talked about Patrick White with Hochul and Howe. Also going to have some folks leaning on them for some production. So the Golden Gophers have reached the magic number of three goals. When they get 3 or more, they haven't lost this year. The other side of that coin is they've only hit 3 goals nine times.
Okay.
Out of 18. Here's a long shot that gets deflected, and Menard happened to be in the right spot at the right time.
Nice shot, nice draw. Good play by Peltier.
It started as a 3-on-2 rush coming into the Minnesota end, and now dissolves back behind the net as Dave Fisher is there. Here's Kaufman to shovel it over, and Justin Boostrom goes after it. Oh, he got blasted hard. A beautiful bolt there by Stephen Maddock. And back to the RIT line. You keep calling him RIT, and I keep thinking of the die. Here's Lucia to pick it up.
I'm sorry, but that's what I remember.
Boostrom.
No disrespect either. I think it's still in the market. It's been on the market since I was 6 years old.
Well, our director, Dave Higgins, I'm sure did a lot of tie-dye T-shirts with the RIT die back in his college days. Here's our Grand Casino summary here towards the end of the period with Wheeler and Gordon 2 points each. The Tigers, who used to be the Techmen, by the way, 2 second period goals, just 1 minute 3 seconds apart. Jay Barriball has the game tire thus far.
One nice thing about playing somebody you've never played before is that you get a chance to look up some things. I didn't realize that it was 1 million strong, the Rochester area. They told us about the snowstorms. It was either in Buffalo, Syracuse, or in Rochester, the Triangle. There's a snowstorm going somewhere in one of those 3 cities. But
yeah, and they're all complaining about our slush here this weekend. I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying our slush.
Barriball making the play in there. Wheeler going in for the rebound. Even in that draw that they got back to Peltier, the boys went in to tip the puck. They went to the net. Some of these things they hadn't been doing before.
Anderson looking for 2. And it was knocked down in front of the net by Justin Hofstetter. Under a minute to go here in the second period. Barriball looking for a tip in. And Barriball takes it back to the outside. Critical here for the Tigers to slam the door in Minnesota's face. Actually, might be critical either way, but Minnesota has the pressure. And Weir's playing it back into the corner. First man to the puck, Raymond. Knocked away from him. And Cook gets it out on the other end. Walton to center ice. It bounds now down to Karim. His shot and a nice block there by Kevin Weirs, who gets it out, let pass to Wheeler. 20 seconds to go. Drop pass for Barriball, shooting, and Menard got a piece of it to knock it to the corner.
And Gordon got away with hitting the goaltender. Moved right into him, Frank.
Now Dan Ringwald. And it's out to center ice, and here's Anderson. 4 seconds left, and this period will drizzle to an end.
Well, Frank, I'm going to say quickly, if you're the coach, either team, you're worried. If you're a spectator, you're having some fun, but you're worried too.
Our history lesson in the intermission will be about the Dodge Holiday Classic. We'll visit with the Minnesota's last goal scorer, R.J. Anderson. We'll have, of course, second period highlights and stats. It's a semifinal game, and it's the 17th annual Dodge Holiday Classic. Minnesota 3, RIT 3. And we'll have our intermission in a moment from Mariucci Arena on FSN North, your television home for Golden Gopher hockey. To say that a lot of mistakes led to a good share of the 5 goals that were scored in the period is not to detract from the intensity or how well played this game has been played too. But, you know, mistakes have led to a lot of these goals.
No question about it. That's usually what happens. Making mistakes, things happen. Minnesota was up going into this situation. A little tip here. Janda tips the puck to the point, and it's 1-1 here. Now, another goal right after. This is the local boy. Murphy coming in and finds the 5-hole. That was a pretty big 5-hole, by the way. Murphy from Montana doing a good job. Minnesota comes back. Nice face-off by Drew Fisher. Gets his first point. Look at Anderson's bomb here as he trickles that thing in. A seeing eye puck, if you will. Minnesota's not over. They made a mistake. Fickle behind the net. Slips around. Crazy doesn't get to the pipe. And we got a goal. Puts the Tigers up. Now, nice play by Wheeler. Drops in the slot. Barriball gets his 3rd goal, and it's a 3-3 game, and we'll see what happens here shortly.
And 2 nice plays by Anderson and Barriball to read screens and set up their goals. After 2 periods, our Chrysler stats. show the scoring chances in favor of Minnesota, but RIT has had most of their scoring chances in that second period. Only 2 minor penalties in this game, both against the Tigers, and the block shots tell a big story here as well. The Tigers with 15 blocks of Minnesota's shots, so Minnesota with some good 40 attempts in that one. Third period, semifinal game. We're tied at 3, coming up in a moment. Golden Gopher Hockey on FSN North is brought to you by Dodge. Live strong, live bold, live now, Dodge. Grab life. And by McDonald's, where you can enjoy big taste on a small budget with the dollar menu. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Thanks very much for joining us. Along with Doug Woog, I'm Frank Mazzacco. This is the second semifinal. They got to get a little more fired up than that. The first semifinal game played at 4 o'clock this afternoon with an 8-2 Boston College win over Air Force Academy. And we are tied at 3-3. You're wondering about overtime. Let's get this chatter off right now. If you're wondering about overtime, if we're tied, we'll have 5 minutes. And then a 5-minute sudden death overtime. Then we go to a shootout. Ricky Walton after the puck in the corner. Walton, by the way, has been given an assist on that earlier goal, the goal that put the Tigers up 3-2. Now back to the point of the Tigers starting this period very much like they started the second period, with a lot of resolve. Walton back in the corner. This time he is jammed off the puck hard by Blake Wheeler. Wheeler battling to get the puck, and now he'll bring it ahead to center ice along with Gordon and Barriball, and through the crowd forces it down the rink to allow 4 of the skaters at least to change on the go. Now out to center ice after a diving play and skating right through it, Bobby Raymond. Raymond, a junior from Ontario, leaves it in the corner now for Simon Lambert. And Lambert wanted to go to the point, but they're changing, and no one was at the right point. Now Dan Ringwald with a shot. And Weir's covering his man. It's forced back at the blue line. Brent Patty playing it in deeper. Forced to the perimeter, but a lot of time of possession here for the Tigers. Crowell playing it behind the Minnesota net, and now another battle for the puck. And as they grind it out, Mike Howe gets it. Nurses it ahead for Hopeful, but quickly taken away from him by Patry. And from center ice, brought into the Minnesota end by the defenseman Ringwald. Shallow angle, and a glove catch there by Jeff Frazee. First game today, won, we told you, by Boston College with an explosion. It took both teams to find their feet a little bit. But the Eagles got 2 goals from Dan Bertram, 2 more goals from Ben Smith. The big man of the night, however, was Nathan Gerby. A 4-point game, a goal and 3 assists. Also led all shooters with 5 shots on goal and a +4. And the post-game coaches talk by Frank Serratore lasted nearly a half hour before he would come out and address reporters. So, and I don't think there was a lot of chalkboard talk on that one. Here's Evan Kaufman with a shallow angle try. Now back to R.J. Anderson in the slot. They get jammed up. Puck taken away, and Jesse Newman dumps it down the rink. Will it be icing? Yes, and just barely.
Frank, we got a guest in our midst here for the third period.
And who would that be, Doug?
That would be Brendan Johnson, right, Brendan? From Inver Grove Elementary School. So he's here watching the game, auction winner. He's 5 years old, and he's just a terrific hockey fan, Frank.
There he is. And his dad?
We got to wave. Just wave. Wave. Oh, boy, what a deal. Thank you. So we got that in.
School auction?
School auction, yep.
And you're sure he's the winner?
Yeah, he's the winner. I think somebody bought his ticket, though.
Just wanted to make sure we were not the consolation prize.
Oh, no, I see.
Here comes boost from ahead. A deflection by Lucia at the line, and now Evan Kaufman goes after it. Right now, Brendan has about 3 people talking in his headphones, and he probably doesn't have a clue where any of the voices are coming from.
Yeah. He's got a headset on.
Here's Boostrom going after it again, and now Evan Kaufman to pick it up once more as we approach the 3-minute mark of this period. Cross-rink pass out at center ice, and then it's dumped in by Stephen Maddock. Tigers will change on the go, and here's Kevin Weirs. Weirs at center ice, nearly stripped of the puck, and then a big hit by Mike Janda. He's a freshman from Winfield, Illinois. And even though I'm a native of the state, Doug, I've never heard of the town. I can only surmise that it's near Chicago. Do you have a...
Glen Ellen is what I've got.
And they tell me Winfield. So Glen Ellen is a Chicago suburb. That one I do know.
Okay.
Winfield, I have no idea.
Well, he's played well, Frank. That's the key thing. He's had a pretty good night.
And a big freshman, too, at 6'2" and 225. They got some size on this team.
Yeah, that fourth line has played consistent. Mazzei, Favot, they've all played.
Played away now by Dan Ringwald. And a bouncing puck to Anderson for Minnesota. Cole got it as far as the line. Shack going after it. 3 Tigers jump on that loose puck and bring it up. And they're offside as they bring it in, however. Time now for a Dodge game break. We remind you that Gopher Hockey returns to FSN North tomorrow night. Be sure to tune into our Quest Gophers Live pregame show at 6:30. And, of course, you'll hear much more about the players' reaction and the coach's first-hand reaction to the departure of Kyle Oposo. We'll discuss a myriad of issues that surround the whole circumstance. And it all starts at 6:30 tomorrow night here on FSN North. Dave Fisher back in his own end for Minnesota. Most of Minnesota's points coming from their top line, centered by Wheeler with Gordon and Barriball. Anderson and Peltier have only points from the decor as Menard makes the save on the Peltier shot. But there are 3 defensemen for the Tigers, Hofstetter, Ringwald, and Patry, each with an assist. And Frazee makes the save and then makes a brilliant stop there on the rebound by Matt Smith.
Big save, huge save in this contest. I don't think Minnesota can fall behind and win this hockey game. The emotion will go to the RIT boys. Minnesota does not have a lot of punch. Watch a nice save by Frazee. He stays his ground, gets one more chance here. Facing the puck, squared away.
We're into a situation now, Doug, where both of these goaltenders have to be thinking, I've got to out-goaltend the other guy.
Absolutely. Got to be better than the guy across from. In this case, they're 180 feet away, but you got to be better than that guy, and you got to make some key saves.
This one gets deflected right back to Walton up the middle, and then hopped off him. Here's a backhand try that hit a skate. I think it might have hit Kevin Weirs, and they pursue him in a hurry. The pressure by Matt Smith. And now the puck leaves the rink. This is not going to be an easy remaining 15 minutes of this game for the Golden Gophers.
No, it's not. We made comments right off the get-go that this was not a game you should expect to win. You're going to have to earn it, and it looks like both teams understand that. Nobody's looking for an easy way out.
Face-off, at least the puck controlled after the face-off by RIT. And again, because this is the first ever meeting between the two schools, we'll mention that it is Rochester Institute of Technology. An icing here against the Tigers. Back in a moment.
Now.
Blake Wheeler gave Minnesota a 1-0 lead in this game, midway point of the second period. But in the second period, the Tigers outscored Minnesota 3-2, getting 2 goals early, just a minute, 3 seconds apart. They came out of that dressing room early in that period and set a tone which they have not relinquished. They are a hard skating team. And now here's Anderson playing it ahead. Howe got it into the zone. Played off the glass and it flipped up over the glass. And out of there, we go across the globe to Czech Republic, where Team USA wins the Group B pool with a 3-2 win over Russia. Minnesota's Mike Carmen, who a lot of folks are going to welcome back to the lineup here with a game-winning goal in that one. Kyle Oposo with 1 assist as they beat Kazakhstan, Switzerland And now Russia to win that pool.
Now, Kazakhstan used to be part of Russia. It was one of the republics in the southwest corner. So Russia now is obviously the big, what used to be the larger portion without the other 11 republics, whatever, but now it is the large mass. So there's a number of different countries now that are carved up from the old USSR.
Some of them on the eastern side of that big mountain range out there.
Called the Urals.
The Urals.
You'll be home for Christmas.
Oh, dear.
I tell you, I don't know if I want to be over in Czech right now. That's got to be dark and dreary. There'll be some long, dreary days like Minnesota.
Well, not like here, not at all like we get here.
I work for the Chamber of Commerce in St. Paul, Minneapolis. Czech Republic.
I love the snow, but it looks a little better with a glimmer of sunlight. But
well, I'll tell you, I guarantee it's no glimmer over there.
Okay.
I've been in a couple of those Strava modes.
You've been east of the Urals, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been east of the Urals. That's not east of the Urals, though.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to tell you what, we got a global problem right now, and that's trying to beat this team in the orange and black.
You did go out to Denver to see the regions, did you not, last year?
Yes, I did.
Do they remind you of Air Force Academy?
Honestly, I think they're deeper than the Air Force Academy was last year. Defense mostly looked better, a little quicker afoot.
And Air Force gave Minnesota fits till what, about maybe 8 minutes left in that game?
Killed off about 30 minutes with penalties. 12 seconds in left.
And that was a Minnesota lineup that was much beefier than this one is here today.
Exactly.
Here come the Tigers from center ice, and it is now flipped in by Stephen Maddock.
This is a mature team with some good skill at defense, much more mobile on defense than the Air Force Falcons were.
Howe heads for the front of the net, and there's Cole right there trying to jam it in. Listening to their coach Wayne Wilson talk about the recruiting strategy, not unlike what we have heard from Troy Judding down in Minnesota State, that we've got to go after the older guys.
Yeah, they certainly have them. 20-year-old guys coming in. That was a chance Minnesota had. Poland to the front of the net. Drew Fisher out with Shaq.
The reality being that the blue chip 18-year-olds, 17, 18, 19-year-olds are generally not going to be available to them, so they're going to have to go after the more seasoned guys who perhaps blossom a little bit later, and they're going to be a little bit more mature. They might be a little more rugged. And right now, they're involved in a 3-3 tie here with Minnesota, midway through the third of this semifinal game. And they do play the body pretty well.
Very well. Not many flags going out there. Not many swishes with the stick.
Bouncing puck back to Anderson at his own line, and he gets pressure in a hurry.
What's really fun now, Frank, to watch the guys who are challenged a little bit more skating, how their knees have straightened up. And I'll let you watch on TV, but you can pick out the guys who lumber a little bit. It makes it even tougher because they haven't skated. They're not in quite the condition they would normally be. And the first thing that goes is your legs. You start to stiffen at your knees. You start bending at the waist. Stride becomes shorter. And when the pucks are free, you can't get to them as easily.
An attempt here at a cross-ring pass got away from the Tigers, and it was intercepted by Fisher. Barriball finds Wheeler, looking for the tip-in by Gordon. Well, these three guys seem to know where each other is, and they've been fighting each other pretty well here tonight, too.
Three is plural.
I was going for the Canadian English on that one.
That's the double A. Look out.
Backhand try in front, and Barriball got a piece of it and hands it away. And that shot gets deflected up front and bounces right back up front for another try, and it won't go in. And a broken stick prevents this from being a good shot on goal. That one out of the hands of Justin Hofstetter. And the Gophers here, don't be surprised if they ice the puck. They're under tremendous pressure right now. Murphy out of the corner. Back to the line. Right on the line for the long shot and a goal. Ringwald with the initial shot, then the deflection. The Tigers have the lead again.
Well, that was ultimate pressure. Minnesota's #1 line had an opportunity, and the other side come down. Didn't work out. Ringwald took the shot with a left-handed tip, I thought, in front. Ooh, was that off?
No, it was right on the line.
Oh, it went off a Weir's stick.
Right smack on the line, and then Ringwald's shot butterflies in. Yeah, you're right. Maybe hit 2 Minnesota sticks. The player, Matt Smith, was out front, and right now they're giving it to him. But they're also going to review, and again, the review can only be from the overhead camera, the goal cam.
That's going to be hard to tell what plane that puck was on.
Now we're picking it up as they're working the replay here.
This is
in and out. Now was there a bump? Frazee came right out and says, hey, somebody took my stick away. Is that what happened? I thought I saw Frazee lose his stick there. Now, that's the goal at the other end. That one doesn't count. But again, that's what the review official is looking at. And it's a goal. He's going to stand. Now, I'm not sure how Frazee lost his stick.
Was he interfered with? We're going to see. Was there a foot?
He gets bumped right at the time the puck goes through him.
Wow.
Whoa.
But he's out of his crease. The player's not in his crease.
He's still in that protected zone. All right, Matt Smith gets the goal, his 10th. And the assists go to Ringwald, who got the shot off. And Murphy, who's having himself a fine night in his freshman season here, back in his home state.
Boy.
Second point of the game for Murphy.
Minnesota has won every game, has not lost a game where they get scored 3 goals or more. They got to score another one here to get right back in it.
Here's a chance on the far side by Crowell, right in, and Frazee makes a big save.
Crowell showed some speed as he went around.
Oh, he did. That had game written all over it. Lambert in the corner, and the Tigers continue their pressure. Back at the line, Ringwald. And here's another shot. That one stopped by Frazee as he arms it away, scrambles to make a save on the rebound again. The initial shot by Crowell, and then I think Murphy was right in there again.
Hard to score when you're on your heels, backpedaling, trying to survive.
And that's what the Gophers are right now. Bickle back to get it, and they're right in on top of him. That's Maddox. A takeaway from behind the net, right up the middle again, and Frazee makes the save on Jesse Newman. The Tigers with their 3rd lead of the game, and they continue to pour the pressure on Minnesota in this semifinal game. A lot of upbeat faces on that RIT bench. Our Menards game reset with the Tigers leading 4-2. Matt Smith, 2 goals. He's given them leads of 3-2 and now 4-3. Gordon and Wheeler have a goal and an assist each for Minnesota. And there's a look at the shots on goal, quite even at this stage of the game, with the Tigers up 28-27.
I tell you, Tigers had tremendous pressure the last 2 shifts. Gophers couldn't get out of their own end, couldn't make a play quickly enough. And the Tigers from RIT were all over the Ghosts.
Right now, that's Justin Boostrom jammed up. Back in the zone, but Stephen Burns. Bickle a shot. Boostrom puts it right in front, and it got away from Lucia. Now 1-on-2 at the Minnesota line, and Bickle slams the door and slammed Brennan Sarazen right into the rail. Now here's Anderson. The Evan Kaufman line is out with Boostrom and Lucia. And Anderson, they give him the free rein right down the middle of the rink. Anderson chased outside before he's knocked off the puck by Burns. Now a check thrown by Jesse Newman. Here's Anderson looking for Newman, who had the last great scoring chance. Out of the corner, the pass was intended for Fisher, but deflected out of the zone. Nice defensive play in front, and I think that was Tyler Mazzei. Weirs misfires on the pass, picked off by Raymond. Left side pass gets away from Mazzei. It's icing.
That was a good call. It failed to complete that pass. He didn't give it away, the linesman. That was Moen. Made a good decision. Call the icing. They missed a chance to make a play. Minnesota is under duress right now.
Very good word, Doug. And they'll bring their top line. This has been most, if not all, of their offense tonight. Wheeler got spun down near the front of the net, and he's wondering where there's interference penalty. Meanwhile, there'll be a penalty on Barriball. He picked the pocket, but he hooked before he did it. And the Tigers, up by a goal, go to the power play.
Fox color.
Out comes the play. You know, you ought to be able to make some type of contact. That's a tough call this time of game. A tough call anytime. Minnesota.
You know, Doug, the blade was pointing up, and maybe that's what got the attention of the referee to call the hook rather than a stick check. You think?
I just think it's part of the natural process of chasing somebody down. You get one little hook, and then it's over. That's all. And then he took the puck away.
What happens is it results in the first power play of the game. It's the first Minnesota penalty. It goes against Barriball at 11:48 of the third. Minnesota down by a goal. Now here's Wheeler out as a penalty killer. Trying to take the puck away, but it'll be grabbed now by Ringwald. And the pass left side too far for Matt Smith, but apparently he touched it. Apparently. And it's back out of the zone. Hofstetter trying for short-handed chance. Long shot of Menard makes the save and puts the puck in the stands.
If you're a Minnesota fan, I think you should be concerned about Menard. He seems to be coming back off a little bit of light start.
Our CHS trivia question might be pertinent at this time here. Who was the last team to beat the Golden Gophers in the Holiday Classic? And we told you they have won 8 straight here, 16 consecutive victories. So that'll give you a rough time frame as to when. And now Dan Ringwald drops it back in his own end. The pass by Crowell, then it's dumped in on Frazee. Did he do that on purpose? I don't think so.
Breakaway.
Breakaway, short-handed, Hofstetter. Right in on Menard. Menard went off the pipe. And Hofstetter goes right back for the puck at center ice. He wants another crack at it. Fires it to Howe. 1-on-3, short-handed. Howe firing, that gets deflected wide.
Will Hofstetter get a shot or what?
Gophers have only one short-handed goal this season. Hofstetter was begging for 2 right there. Now off the rail, Matt Smith, who has 2 goals tonight alone. And a takeaway by Kaufman. He's tripped up. There'll be a penalty.
I tell you, Minnesota's best part of this period was Hoffel's breakaway on the penalty shot, on the man chart, and then Kaufman creating a penalty here.
Real time here, folks. Watch this and listen. It's about as solid as a hit, and there's the penalty, which will even things up for 24 seconds.
Now, excuse me, Frank, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the penalized player, Andy Favot. Go ahead.
I mean, Hofstetter let it rip. Another year from now, he'd have come about 10 feet closer to the middle and had both sides to shoot at. Nothing wrong with what he did, but a little more confidence in being through that situation more often, and he'd score. There could have been a penalty right there.
Oh, there will be one. It'll be Bobby Raymond to go. Minnesota will go up by 1 man now, and in 11 seconds by 2 men.
When you work hard, you force people to have problems, and you know what? Kaufman, that's all he did was go work the corner, dig, give it all he had, give it a good Minnesota effort. And who comes up with Bobby Raymond with the penalty? And it'll be 4-on-3 for 11 seconds, and Minnesota will have almost a minute and a half of a potential 5-on-3.
Back-to-back tripping penalties. Power play now for Minnesota. They go to Wheeler, and now back to Peltier, laying it across for Fisher to Peltier. Here's Ben Gordon. First penalty is over. Barriball is out. Here's a shot turned away by Menard as Fisher goes after the rebound. A 2-man advantage now for the Golden Gophers. Fisher, Peltier, a chance to tie and take the lead with the power play. Fisher to Peltier. Down low, and it's tipped away by Sarrazin. Barriball picks it up. Wheeler at the far post. Peltier and Barriball playing catch. Peltier, Fisher, fans want a shot on goal. Gordon to Fisher. Oh, Menard! A glove catch.
Moving on the perimeter. They'd like somebody else a little bit heavier shot to take that one, but you've got to take it if it's there. Nice little wrist shot, actually. Fisher not having a real big gun, so you got to get to do with what you have.
Same 5 players, and now a timeout is being called. Don Lucia has called the timeout.
He's got to make a little change. He's got to get the puck.
59 seconds left on the 2-man advantage. Minnesota down by 1.
Hofstetter showing great speed. He's got the terrific wrist, a little torque. You can see that whole stick bend. and that's a goaltender's best friend. He might have come a little closer to the middle if he had a little more experience, but nothing wrong with the effort and the design of what he was trying to do. Young kid, gonna be a good one. Likes to play.
Two penalized players, Favot and Raymond, in the penalty box for RIT. They have their third lead of this game. Here's Peltier. White is back now on one of the points, replacing Dave Fisher. Patrick White shooting! Rebound let loose there by Menard. Here's White playing it in again. Gordon, Wheeler, Barriball, the three players up front. Gordon to Peltier. Down the middle, now right in front. And it comes through everybody as that pass by Barriball. White again, finds Peltier, slap shot, wide, rebound to Gordon. Great defensive play to wrap it away at the last second by Matnick. Now Peltier, that shot's off a skate and into the corner. Gordon once more, 19 on the two-man advantage. White fires away, and that one stung Matnick. Did he keep it in? No. And the first penalty will expire in 9 seconds. Here comes Barriball, in over the line. Shooting, and he shot it wide.
He hits the net, he's got it tied.
And it's chipped out of there by Ringwald. So the first player, Favot, is out. 8 seconds left on the Raymond penalty, and you talk about a huge kill. How about this for the Tigers? Here comes Barriball to bring it in. Goes far side, Gordon ready for Wheeler! And Menard again! A miraculous save!
Holy buckets!
Wow!
What a great pass, what a great play, and what a great save. Gordon, Wheeler, Barriball, my goodness.
There's Louis Menard, a sophomore from Chicoutimi, Quebec.
And you know, the worst part of this, Minnesota's used their offense up. They have no timeouts. Got to come back and play it out. It'd almost be better to fake a goalie injury. I wouldn't do that.
Kaufman, Lucia, Boostrom are up front. Fisher and Anderson, the two defensemen. Drop of the puck. No control yet. Finally the Tigers, and they get it to center. It's taken away by Lucia. Brings it in offside. Boostrom was still in the head of the zone. And another good call there by Jarod Moen. Well, a two-man advantage for Minnesota. And this is what they did.
And you can't say they were not quality shots. That might have been the best one by White. He snapped that wrister that just went off high. But Peltier had some good wraps.
A lot of blocks there too, Doug.
Oh, yeah. And look at this. This is after the penalty would expire. But my goodness, can't ask for much more in terms of good opportunities.
Now Raymond from behind his own net, and they get it out to Walton. Actually, Matt Crowell at center ice. Dribbling one pass. Jeff Frazee roll right in front again for Crowell.
Lazy defensive coming back, including the forwards, not necessarily the D.
There's Ricky Walton jabbing it loose at the far boards. Gets a shot off, but it's off a skate. Now picked up by Matt Smith. And RIT 3.5 minutes away from upsetting the Golden Gophers in this semifinal game. Boostrom to center ice. And he'll chip it down the rink for a change on the go. Now Lambert to the Gopher line. And as it comes in, Frazee covers up, and Lambert breezes right by. The answer to our CHS trivia question. Question going back to the last team to beat the Golden Gophers in the Holiday Classic. We would go all the way back to 1998 when it was Ohio State in a 6-5 victory, and that was the third place game.
And that was Doug Woog's team. Oh, yeah.
Good of you to mention, because
I know,
we weren't about.
I was done in 99. That was kind of pork in me by then. 98, they were just warming them up.
Yeah. Now a pass picked off at center. Crowell brings it in. Bickle chases him outside and then misses on the check. And here is Howe. Out to center. Hofel. Long shot, and Menard made the stop and then made the rebound interesting. Hofel digging for it hard. Remember Mike Hofel with 2 games against North Dakota 3 weeks ago. 2 goals to lead Minnesota to victory. There's Fisher trying to keep it alive. 2:24 on the clock. And White is there. Who wants a whistle? I'm not sure. And finally the Tigers, and it's driven around by Anton Karim. A block by Anderson. Now flipped out to center ice, a bounding puck and into the zone. It's brought by Newman, who scoots and shoots it just wide. This is Fisher under 2 minutes in regulation.
Wheeler line is out here right now. Best chance of scores with these guys.
Wheeler finds Barriball, moving right in for Gordon, and Menard again makes the save. Boy, he's going for all tournament, Louis Menard is.
He seals it if they win tonight.
Pass to the line, grabbed by Wheeler. Shoveling it ahead for Barriball. Menard gets a piece of it. Barriball had his wheels taken out from under him, and then he's on top of the puck. And the face-off with a minute 32 to go.
Here it is, Barriball coming in. He's going to backhand that pass over to Gordon. Pucks are rolling, not much of a chance. But I'll tell you, this line has been superb offensively. I don't know defensively what I might say, but offensively they've been terrific. Wow. Minnesota comes in with the second or third line.
He was the I'm sorry, go ahead, Doug.
I'm a little surprised at that.
Menard apparently an equipment issue there. Menard a 1984 birth, so he just turns 23 this year. He's in his sophomore year. We told you that got him a little bit older there.
Yep.
But last year he was named the Atlantic Hockey Association's regular season goaltender of the year. First period, Blake Wheeler gives Minnesota a 1-0 lead after a nice rush led by Derek Peltier. Second period, 2 goals a minute 3 apart by the Tigers, Janda and Murphy. R.J. Anderson would answer for Minnesota with a seeing eye shot. Then Matt Smith would get his first of 2. Jay Barriball ties it at 3. And Smith again. Now they have pulled Jeff Frazee, a minute 23 on the clock. Minnesota with an effort to tie. 6 skaters for the Golden Gophers. Here's Wheeler. Gordon in the corner. White. And Minnesota trying to avert this semifinal loss. Wheeler for Barriball. And they never delivered it cleanly. Under a minute to go, an empty net. Crowell after a loose puck, and it's blocked by Peltier. Relatively plenty of time. Wheeler, Barriball. White's in front of the net. 5 skaters down low. A drive by Peltier, deflected, and it leaves the ring.
Face-off being on the top of the circles as it went off. The RIT player, stick. Good call by Moen there. AR. Well, I tell you, Barriball's been all over the rink. Absolutely phenomenal tonight. But you know, you gotta. Oh, that's surprising. Timeout by the Tigers.
I bet you wouldn't do that either.
I probably wouldn't, except maybe he's got a couple of key guys that he wants out there at the very end. And I'm going to guess Simone Lambert. Lambert will be one of those guys. And look for Brent Party.
All right, to finish our thought, we'll go back to the first period. And the Derek Peltier rush leads to the Wheeler goal.
That was a beautiful goal.
Second period. This is when the Tigers began to take control. They score at 3 minutes, and then at 4:03, Janda and Sean Murphy, the Rochester native.
And he's been all over the ice.
R.J. Anderson, after a face-off, would tie it at 2.
He just missed 2 from point blank before that.
And Matt Smith, his first of 2, and a 3-2 RIT lead. And that's how we end the period.
And if you don't take care of the puck,
I beg your pardon, this ends the period. The Barriball goal to tie it at 3. Here in the third, Smith at the 8-minute mark after a great pressure. And we're back to live action. Fisher through a screen, and Menard makes the save. Puck leave the rink. Yep, indeed it did.
Minnesota just can't get a break. I mean, they've really had some tremendous pressure the last 5 or 6 minutes, starting with the 5-on-3 power play, but they just can't get a bounce. They can't quite get it through, and Menard has been huge,
the difference maker.
Face-off's been good for the Gophers so far tonight.
6 skaters for the Golden Gophers. Peltier, and then it's off a skate, and it's back out at center. Now they've got to hurry. Fisher, White, Barriball, ran into a check, puck not in the zone, icing. Ooh, that was ill-advised.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Because now instead of, at best it was out at the blue line there, and now it's deep in their zone.
That was Ricky Walton that would like to have that over again. Minnesota won the draw on the right face-off circle, but Peltier's got to go to the net instead of coming back right away on the half board. They got to go to the net with the puck. You play around near the blue line, and you're going to end up with bad results.
Wheeler in for the face-off again. Puck control by the Tigers. Barriball throwing a check on the far side into Raymond. But Wheeler gets the puck, digs it out, then gave it away as he was checked. It's chipped to the line, 2 seconds left, and that'll be it. The championship game will feature Boston College and Rochester Institute of Technology.
And the Gophers will play
Air Force Academy tomorrow night for the consolation prize.
Wow, I'll tell you what.
First Minnesota lost in the Holiday Classic since 1998. And the string of 8 consecutive championships ends tonight, largely because of the 2 goals, including the game winner by Matt Smith and outstanding goaltending, 32 save effort by Louis Menard.
Once Menard let in that third one, he shut the door, boy. From there on in, he was a difference maker. He got some breaks, but he was using his stick, his blocker. I think the one thing that impressed me the most about our IRT was they took the body every time without getting dumb penalties.
And our Abra hit of the game will be this hit delivered to the midsection. Matt Smith with the game winner. His 10th of the year. Ringwald and Murphy getting the assist. So Sean Murphy from Owatonna and Rochester with 2 points tonight, helping to lead this one in his freshman year, and they're on to the championship game. Doug, a final thought or two?
Well, let's go from the beginning. 1-0 Minnesota. That's not bad if you're on the road against one of the better teams in the country. You come back to start the second, you get one quickly to tie, get one to go ahead. Minnesota comes back with their, with their goal, but you're in the game all the time. It never got a separation for the Gophers, and eventually the separation came to 4-3 in favor of the Tigers. And then to finish it out, you come in with a great reliever, and he shuts down the team.
And that's how that one unfolds. That does it for Mariucci Arena in Minneapolis. Our final score, RIT 4, Minnesota 3. Gopher hockey returns to FSN North tomorrow evening. The Gophers in the consolation championship game, if you will, against Air Force Academy. Then our coverage will begin at 6:30 with Quest Gophers Live, and your chance to hear reaction to the Kyle Oposo departure. For Doug Moog and our entire crew, I'm Frank Mazzocco. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.